Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lieutenant McInnis. That's M-C-I-N-N-I-S, Public Information Officer for the Bern Police Department. We are here today to provide an overview of our investigation into the murder of Nia'Loni and hope to keep this investigation a priority until those who are responsible are brought to justice. On July 7th, we held a news conference in this exact location. During that news conference, our intention was to provide our community with information pertaining to the senseless murder of one of our most innocent citizens, baby Nia'Loni. Today is a continuation of our message to the community that their support is critical to bring justice to Nia'Loni. Before I introduce Mayor Odom for his remarks, I wish to identify some who have joined us today. Sheriff Chip Hughes, Major David McFadden, Mayor Jeffrey Odom, Alderman Hazel Royal, Alderman Bob Brinson, City Manager Foster Hughes, Assistant City Manager Marvin Williams, and Ms. Hazel Royal, Ms. Ethel Sampson. I wish to introduce Mayor Jeffrey Odom for some brief comments.
Thank you, Lieutenant. As the LT just said, a few short weeks ago, we stood at this very location with a press conference to update the public on the heinous murder that took place within our community. The purpose of that press conference was twofold. It was, number one, to provide an update to the community, but number two, to ask for assistance from anyone who may have information that would lead to those involved with this crime. Unfortunately, we did our part, and we're still waiting for the public to do theirs. As we stand here today, we know that with the power of social media and the connections within this community, that there are folks that know something, and we're just asking you to please say something. At that time, I expressed my respect and confidence in our law enforcement, and I stand here today with that same level of confidence, but we need your help, and that's what we're here today for, is to please ask for your help and assistance. If you know anything, please speak up. At this time, I would like to turn this over to New Bern Police Chief Patrick Gallagher.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Over the past month, a task force of federal, state, local law enforcement agencies has formed with a focus on solving the murder and addressing violence in our community. Of the many partners we have, none have been or is as committed to the safety of our city as the Craven County Sheriff's Office. We're extremely grateful for all the help and their partnership with the Bern Police Department over the many years. And we look forward to many more years of working in collaboration for the people of New Bern and Craven County. We estimate that our collective efforts have resulted in part to the following. We have interviewed over 50 subjects, executed 25 search warrants, collected over 400 items of evidence, expended over 800 investigative hours. Approximately 135 homes were canvassed or attempted to be canvassed, and these canvasses occurred on different dates by different agencies, to include the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Craven County Sheriff's Office, and members of the New Bern Police Department. I do not want my use of the word task force to be misunderstood. The sharing of information, resources, personnel, computerized linked analysis, strategic meetings, and operational deployments are but a few of the outcomes of our efforts. Our our federal partners, to include the commitment of Michael Easley Jr., U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of North Carolina, and his dedicated team, to include Assistant U.S. Attorney Phil Albart, have been unprecedented in their level of cooperation. The FBI support under the leadership of Supervisor Senior Resident Agent Greg Coates and his staff, to include Special Agent Michael Moorhead and Casey Bratt, have also provided unprecedented assistance to our city. This is not to minimize the support we have received from the ATF and the Marshal Service. This team is dedicated to resolving this case. In addition to the investigative matters taken, we have sought to partner with community stakeholders to develop strategies and solutions to curb future violence, to include gang recruitment. We have also sought to partner to bring necessary resources to Duffyfield. Community policing must include community solutions and a team approach. We also seek to leverage technology that will help this community in curbing violence, such as ShotSpotter and a fully functional NIBIN workstation. NIBIN stands for the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network. Today, we have been joined by members of the Duffyfield community. Unfortunately, we invited the mother of baby Nia'Loni. Unfortunately, she is not here, but her invitation was sincere, and we wish she could be here to lend her voice to this tragic event. During our earlier news conference, we demonstrated our commitment to our community in the passionate words spoken and the unfettered analysis of community issues. It should not be lost, minimized, or misunderstood the feelings and passions of the wonderful people who live in this community. They too were shocked and angered by the events of July 4th. This is a community of caring people who wish to create ways of making this one that is safe, engaging, and welcoming for law-abiding citizens. There are members of our community who have spent generations in Duffyfield and the surrounding areas, Ms. Sampson being but one. They are here today in solidarity to send a message that they will make this community one that is not only safe, but prosperous, beautiful, and accommodating for those who call it home. Here today is one pillar of that community who wishes to speak, to provide context into the feelings of this community, and to serve as their voice. As Pastor Hazel Royal has often stated, all voices have value. We hope to elevate some of those voices today. I'd like to introduce you to Pastor George E. Royal, who will speak on behalf of this community. Pastor.
Thank you, Chief. Your being here today speaks volumes. Clearly, it says that we have not forgotten the tragedy that took place. Yes, we all want justice, and we applaud law enforcement as they continue their process. As we have stated before, we solicit information from any members of this community. We have made and continue to reinforce different ways to provide that information. We have the following means available: New Bern Police Department Criminal Investigation Unit, supervisor at 252-672-4253, and you can perhaps get this information from the police officers. We are confident that far more of our citizens have information that would help bring justice to Nia'Loni. We ask again, please help. My resolve is that we don't become apathetic and complacent, but we become more vigilant in our efforts to see justice prevail. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. As the pastor has stated, there are multiple means of contacting the police department, one of which is the New Bern Police Department's investigative unit at 252-672-4253. Also, the Craven County Crime Stoppers at 252-633-5141. Or you can utilize the New Bern Police Department's TIP 411 program by texting the keyword NBPDTIP with your tip at 847-411. I wish to point out that over the past several weeks that we've received 12 tips. We are confident that there is more information out there, and we are hopeful, as the pastor has indicated, that those in our community that has information shares information. I wish to provide Sheriff Hughes an opportunity to speak. He and his staff has remained a steadfast partner in our mission to keep the people of New Bern safe. It should not go unsaid, but citizens of New Bern are also citizens of Craven County. Sheriff Hughes.
Thank you, Chief, Pastor Royal, for allowing us to utilize this facility today. Ms. Sampson, it's always a pleasure to be in your presence, and I thank you for being here with us today. As we sat in your living room not long ago, discussing how we all need to work together for this child's, on this child's behalf. And my commitment stands firm as it was last time we met. Our office, your sheriff's office, will continue to put every resource we have on the streets in the city of New Bern and the county to go after those that once again felt like it was okay to come into our communities and terrorize our citizens. We will not tolerate it. Today, we're before you again asking for the citizens to help us take back our communities, make them safe, and bring justice for this young child's needless murder. My commitment will stand firm. The Chief and I talk almost daily about operations in this county and in the city of New Bern. We work as one team. I've mentioned that before. Now we're working closely with our community leaders, as we always have, but this has brought us closer together. We're having meaningful dialogue about how we all own this and how we should work together to bring some type of resolution together. So moving forward, I will continue to plead with these communities to come forward, give us any information. We do not need a name of who's giving the information. We need information that you might have, you can remain anonymous, that will help us move this investigation forward so we can bring those people responsible for this to justice. And we will not go away. We're going to be here. We are going to continue to move forward, once again utilizing every resource we have at our disposal until this resolution is brought forward. So once again, my commitment stays firm. I do beg and plead with the community to come forward, share any information you might have. You can do it anonymously. We are not interested in your name. You can call and leave anonymous tips, and we look at every tip and we follow it to the end. So I thank y'all for being here, and Ms. Sampson, thank you again for supporting us in this endeavor, Chief.
Thank you, Sheriff. I want to take the opportunity to address the media and our citizens. I do want to caution, like I did before, that all requests regarding this investigation that could jeopardize a future prosecution or divulge any investigative strategies that we have or might develop, I cannot answer. In addition, I want to focus on this case. I will defer any other questions pertaining to other matters involving the New Bern Police Department to another date or another time. With that, I open this up for questions and hope to provide you with a meaningful answer. Yes, ma'am.
So you guys, across the different agencies, have offered over $10,000 in rewards for people bringing information to you guys. That hasn't seemed to work so far. So are you looking at increasing that dollar amount or looking to incentivize community involvement, bringing forward information in any other way?
I'll let the sheriff answer that.
Sure.
So as we've got Crime Stoppers back up and running where it should be, and it is moving at a great pace and growing, I have been personally contacted by business owners within Craven County asking how they can help in regards to monetary amounts. So we're looking at that right now. But they are very generous amounts that they are offering, and they're just wanting the details about how Crime Stoppers work. But we do have community buy-in on this in regards to how we grow the funds that are available that we can give out, once again, anonymously. We don't want your name, we just want your information. So as those funds grow, we will be making the public aware of that. And really, you know, what dollar amount do you put on this thing? You know, this is what any member of the community, and believe me, this community is one of the most passionate the people live in this community that I've ever met in my life. And so many of them want to see resolution and closure. But as we grow that amount, we'll certainly make it known to the public, but there has been some interest in helping us accomplish that. So Crime Stoppers is in great shape. We're getting a lot of information that comes in. We process it, and as the rewards grow, we will make sure that the public is aware of that.
Thank you.
Chief, I have a brief question for you, just for purpose of geographical clarification. The initial report said this was on the 1000 block of LaGrange Street. I just kind of wrote down earlier today, is there actually a 1000? Because I got to the railroad tracks and it stopped at 1100. Just for context as far as how that goes, there is an actual 1000 block of LaGrange Street?
So you're half right. It's the 1000 block of Main Street is where this crime occurred.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Thank you. That's what I needed to know.
Was he the driver of the vehicle when it was shot, when he and Nia'Loni were shot?
Who are you talking about?
Nathan Sheptock, the father. They were in a vehicle when it occurred. Was he the one driving the vehicle?
That information is one we don't want to release.
Okay.
There was more than one adult in the vehicles, so we'll just leave it at that. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask, since you guys have been canvassing and been doing that for about a month now, do you guys have other methods that you guys are going to try and find out, more information other than canvassing for the time being? I know you probably might not be able to share too many details about that, but...
Well, the ability to solicit this information was two parts, and you mentioned the first one, canvassing. And that is literally boots on the ground, knocking on doors, and having a face-to-face conversation. The other one is, as we spoke, was to try to convince those that do not want to speak to law enforcement to provide that information another way. I am willing to entertain anybody who tells me of a different way that I can extract information other than the two ways that we're trying right now. Sure.
Also, speaking with people throughout the Duffyfield area, do you think community members are maybe scared to come forward, or are scared with there still not being a resolution to this a month later?
I don't want to speak for persons that live in Duffyfield, but the community leadership, they are the ones that are here today. They are the ones that put their reputations on the line to say we want to work with law enforcement. I do not believe they're intimidated or scared in any way. I made the comment at the last news conference that I did not feel that I could, in good conscience, tell this community they were safe, because there is a person who has murdered a young child, and I would be more than pleased and happy and willing to step forward in front of this audience or any other audience and commit safety when we arrest that person.
Chief, I have one follow-up question here, and it might, I'm not sure if it compromises any of the investigation at this point, but if so, just say so. when talking to Nathan Sheptock, did he kind of describe at all what he saw leading up to those moments? Or was there any kind of conversation as far as that's concerned?
You were correct in your first assessment that this is something we're not going to talk about.
Okay, and just one follow-up question with that. Any kind of surveillance cameras in the area that might have been some assistance, or anything that is kind of helping with descriptions as far as, maybe vehicle description of somebody that might have been, in the area, or a clothing description even?
I will say that there were surveillance videos that are in this community. Some of us have them at home. They're called Ring doorbells. And I can assure you every one of those that we were able to identify and extract information from were certainly done. What we glean from that, we're going to withhold.
I just want to clarify, just for everyone, so they were injured and the actual incident occurred on the 1000 block of Main Street, but the vehicle was found on the 1100 block of LaGrange?
I don't know what the 100 block of LaGrange is. I know it was LaGrange. I can't give you the 100 block. Remember, this was a vehicle in motion, so it eventually stops. I do want to point out, I do want to highlight, the members of the New Bern Police Department found this child in critical condition. We're not doctors. We're first responders. And officers dealing with a mortal wound on a child performed heroic CPR to try to save that child's life. That should not be minimized. And the emotional impact that has on those officers are something that we're also monitoring.
Do you have one more question?
You can have as many questions as you want.
Do you guys see any outcome at all in this where you could make an arrest and close this case without the community involvement? Without that missing piece?
The best way for me to answer that is, and I've been doing this, I made my first physical arrest in 1984, so I've been doing this a long while. And I've been an investigator for many years, investigating everything from a stolen skateboard to multiple homicides. There are times when the investigative process will uncover a lead based on the skill, tenacity, and intuitiveness of the investigators. That could happen, but it is more likely that our success will come because a community member will tell us, you need to look under that stone. You need to look at this person. Or some additional information. I want to be consistent and honest with the answer I give you, but I do not want to minimize how critically important that community input is going to be.
If I can, Chief.
Yes, of course.
Also, in regards to that, that's why, having meetings with community leaders whose voices in these communities are certainly respected and trusted is so crucial. That's why we've been doing that. We recognize that they do. We all realize that, once again, we're together in this thing as one team, the community leaders and law enforcement or public safety officials. And, I've been asked about law enforcement presence in the community. Before this occurred, there was a law enforcement presence in the community. Is there more of one now? Absolutely there is, because we are trying to uncover any lead and every tip investigated thoroughly. And there will continue to be law enforcement presence. Those presence are here to serve as a deterrent and to make the people that live here in New Bern in Craven County feel safer. So with our partnership with the community leaders, which in essence gives us a partnership with the community, it is so crucial to have the buy-in of the community and their support to help us together bring this investigation to closure and bring justice to this baby.
I'll add on to that as well. There are very few people I work for one who can order me to do whatever he wants me to do, and I will do it. I do it out of respect for him. But there's another person in this room who made a phone call and asked, will you and the sheriff come to my home? We have to have a conversation. That's Miss Ethel Sampson. When I contacted Sheriff Hughes and said, Mama Sampson wants to talk to us.
You go.
We go. And we sat in her living room and we spoke to community leaders, which in part is why we're here today. Because they wanted a voice. They want to be leaders. They want to determine how to lead this community. And of course, they want law enforcement support. We have a mutual mission, and that is to keep this community safe. I didn't misstate that, did I, Mama Sampson? No, I did not.
Perfect.
Thank you for your question.
I was gonna ask a favor more. I had some audio issues when you were repeating in your statement how many hours and calls and stuff you guys have gotten. Can you repeat that for me?
Sure.
Because now my audio's working.
Make sure I'm not missing a page here. So over the course of this investigation, we have over 50 interviews conducted, 25 search warrants executed, over 400 items of evidence collected, over 800 investigative hours dedicated to this investigation, and approximately 135 homes that were canvassed or attempted to be canvassed on multiple days by multiple agencies, to include the FBI, Craven County Sheriff's Office, and members of the New Bern Police Department.
Praise the Lord, everybody. You know, I really applaud the Royals for allowing this to happen. That proved something to me too. I was supposed to be the president after Sampson became the county commissioner in 1996 for the concerned citizen. The ones that used to work together so hard, most of them are dead. Some of them are very, very sick. The only person that's really, even though Papa is very sick, but Mr. Tall Jack is still alive, and we still communicate with each other. But I was so impressed when the chief came to the house to find out where the mother lived. This was on a Wednesday. The child died that Wednesday night. So she lived at 1102. She did Lagrange Street. So what I did, my daughter Barbara Jean and I went round there to the house. Of course, she was gone because she was in Greenville. But when a lot of things occurred, and I listened to conversations, and I resent the fact that anyone would say that the chief was not interested, because they kept right on coming. And when people say that the people don't come in Duffyfield, look, I can see very well, even though I'm old, I can see, and they come up there a lot of times. I don't know, the ones that don't see them, maybe they're not there right now, maybe they're asleep or something. But I was so happy, I didn't even worry when the chief told me that he was going to get the sheriff there, because we really worked together. Because I am very concerned, but it brings tears to my eyes. If this has been broadcast every day, it will bring tears to my eyes when I see it should be full of people. And when I came over here the first time and saw all those officers, and this, oh good gracious, it made me feel so good. And how anybody can think that they are not concerned. If they were concerned, they wouldn't be here, because action speaks louder than words. And I want you to tell everybody that Elder Bell Stockton Sampson said that she was very disappointed. And I want you to wake up and stop hiding. God bless you.